everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Nikki.
Hi.
And, Nick, what do we have in history?
This day in history?
This day in history. What do we have in history today?
All right. So on January 18th, 1803, Thomas Jefferson first requested funding for the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Nice. That goes right through here and right here through the good old Show Me State. Started in St. Louis. So that's fun. I also
I thought that was interesting.
Saw on the one that I was looking at that Pink Floyd's album The Wall debuted at #1. So that's fun too.
Interesting.
But
I saw that this just I don't know why this Pink Floyd made me think of Rob Zombie, but like an hour before we started talking, I saw that Rob Zombie's going on tour with I'm blanking. I'm total mind blanking right now. Anyways, I really like some of Rob Zombie's songs. So.
Well, that's not the big tour that's coming up, or you expect to come up this year. So the big one will be Harry Styles. Whenever that, I remember I got that text the other day that that new album was coming out. So
actually, the text said, "I'm going to be so annoying this year."
Yes, is exactly what it said.
Yeah, I already pre-ordered the vinyl, and depending on when and where the tour is, we can go. Yeah,
I think it'd be fun to go see. So I like going to shows.
I mean, in past years, like I flew to Texas, I flew to LA.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not flying anywhere this year, but if he comes to anywhere around here, depending on the date, we'll definitely go.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know that I'd fly anywhere to see anybody really, but if they come close enough to here, if it's within a reasonable driving distance, yes, I will go see them because that's fun.
And that's what everyone says. They're like, I can't believe you flew. But like, to be fair, at the last tour he did, he only did New York, LA, and Dallas or San Antonio, somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
So didn't really have
an option.
Yeah. I mean, I could have not gone, but I'm not going to not go. That would be dumb.
Now, I will say that I have gone distances like that for concerts. I wouldn't do it now, but I have twice. We my senior year of high school, me and some friends in high school, we did like a senior trip type thing, 4 of us. We drove 9 hours to Dallas to see 2 concerts for a weekend. So we saw 2 concerts in Dallas. And then my freshman year of college, so just like probably 4 or 5 months after that, my dad, me, and my little brother drove to Chicago to see the Eagles. So I have done like long I've never flown to them, but I have done long trips to see concerts like that. You good?
One of the dogs just really scared me because they were trying to open the door.
Oh.
Sorry, I just had like a mini panic attack.
You're good. I thought you were coughing or something.
Yes. No. The door like banged and I was like, oh.
So I've never flown, but I have done long trips to go see shows like that before. The craziest. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think Harry is the only one I would do that for now, because like I told you, we've been to a lot of amazing concerts, both individually and us together.
Yeah.
And they're always good energy, whether it's Post Malone, Motley Crue, like no matter who I'm seeing, being at a concert is fun, but being at a Harry Styles concert is like otherworldly positive, because he cultivates such a inclusive show, and there's just something about it that is so positive. It fuels me, for more than just that one night. That I don't know. It just makes me really happy.
That's cool. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I will the the most, and you flew to, you flew to LA and to Texas, or did
Yeah.
you just fly to LA?
I think I just flew to LA. I think I Oh no, I'm confusing. At one point I just went to visit Mariah in Texas.
Okay. So,
But we flew to LA for Harry. Yeah.
okay. So, I will say and then I'm going to tell this one story and then we'll get on to our topic for this week. But
Hmm.
the most probably intense concert going experience that I've ever done, because I have done those drives. It's like, 9 hours or whatever to go to the concerts. But
Hmm.
the most intense like instance of this is I was in I would have been in high school, because I
Mm.
remember driving a little bit. Not a lot, but I remember having like, I must have had like a permit, or was like a just gotten my driver's license. Um and I went to three different concerts
Hmm.
over the course of like a 6-day period. But they were in
Mm.
three entirely different cities in three different directions. So we lived in
Mm.
Springfield. I went with my uncle to Kansas City, which is 3 hours away from Springfield, to see Santana.
Hmm.
Yeah. No. We went to see Eric Clapton in Kansas City.
Mm.
Then I came back to Springfield. I believe this is the order. Me and my dad went to St. Louis, which is 4 hours away, to see Billy Joel. And
Mm.
then me and my dad also went to Oklahoma City, which is another 4 hours away in the opposite direction of St. Louis, to see uh, Rush.
Mm.
So over the course of like that 6 days, I traveled six, eight, 16 plus six, like 24 hour or 20, like
Hmm.
20 some hours worth of driving just to go see three different
Yeah.
concerts, which is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
but you and I love music.
Yeah,
I love live music too.
live music is
Some
great.
people are
Yeah,
like, I don't get it. Just listen on the radio or
no,
listen on
it's
your phone. Or
different.
like, no, it's so different
Hmm.
to hear a recorded version versus a live version, and to be there with other people that enjoy the music, and the vibes are great. And usually the shows are like artistic and great,
Hmm.
and I don't know, it's just fun.
Hmm.
And when you are in a space with, this is how I felt at least about like Chapel Roan and like about the Harry shows. And I'm sure I haven't gotten to go to any Taylor Swift concerts, but um I'm sure people feel the same. Like it's fun to be around people who are so genuinely excited
Hmm.
and happy about like the same thing you're excited about, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. So,
yeah, yeah, exactly. I think I agree, because it is a lot of fun, and when you have that
mhm.
many, everybody's excited and happy to be there because they're just having fun and it's something fun to do. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Um,
Hmm.
Switching gears entirely. This
Yeah.
week we're talking about propaganda.
Yes.
So, way to go us. Um, Specifically, Nick wanted to talk about Tokyo Rose.
Yes. It came up and from one of our recent topics, I don't remember which one. Um, to be honest, I do not remember anything at all that we've talked about on this podcast in this very moment. So I have no idea what we were talking about. But I said in the episode, I'm going to put this on our list because I want to know more about this. And here it is. So, um,
let's start.
yeah, Tokyo.
Let's start by.
Hmm.
Let's start by. So I want to start by, I looked up the definition of propaganda. So the
Oh, yeah.
definition of propaganda from Merriam-Webster's
Hmm.
is ideas, facts, or allegations spread deliberately to further one's cause or damage an opposing cause. So
Hmm.
basically, it doesn't necessarily have, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bad.
Yeah, it can be
It
positive,
can be positive,
negative.
it can be
Yeah,
negative,
there's
it
different
can be
types.
pretty much anything. Like
Hmm.
just putting it out there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it can be all sorts of things. But what we're
Hmm.
specifically talking about today is more war propaganda.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's going to be mostly negative. Usually when I think of propaganda, I think of it as negative towards the other side.
Yep.
Um, and I think that's how most people probably think about it because I
Yeah, that's
think
the connotation
that's
that
the
the word
connotation of the
has.
word. Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
I agree. Yeah,
but
because when you say propaganda, or not you, but when anyone says propaganda, I think of North Korea,
mhm,
Germany,
yeah.
even the United States in wartime. So
Hmm.
that's what I think of, is that connotation more so than, like, some of the things I looked up are really interesting, and I actually have a couple examples of, like, um I don't know, positive isn't the right word, but like not negative,
Yeah.
you know. So we'll talk about that later, but because I found some cool stuff and looked up some different things. But yeah, so Tokyo Rose is an example of wartime propaganda that we would consider negative, if
Hmm.
that's the, term we want to use. So Tokyo Rose it's not one person. And I didn't know this because I didn't really know. I've heard that before. Like, I've heard that phrase Tokyo Rose. I thought it was like a person,
Hmm.
but it's not. It's a group of English speaking women that were on Japanese radio
Okay.
during World War II.
Okay.
So they didn't call themselves Tokyo Rose. That was a name given to them by, like, the public. So it was given by the Allied troops. So these women were hired by the Japanese government or military, whoever, to promote propaganda on radio aimed at demoralizing US and Allied soldiers during World War II.
Okay.
So it was very, like, anti American
Yeah.
messages. So that would be definitely like a quote unquote negative wartime propaganda. Um, so there was one woman that became synonymous with the name Tokyo Rose. So Iva Toguri was an American born woman who is now like the embodiment of the Tokyo Rose movement. Um, in probably not a positive way, because she was imprisoned,
Hmm.
and I'll just tell you all about her. So she was born on July 4th. Oh, I just scrolled up in my notes. Okay. So she was born on July 4th, 1916, which is funny to me
Born on the 4th of
that
July.
this woman who, yeah, became known as the embodiment of this anti American propaganda was born on Independence Day.
Has the most American
So,
birthday you can have.
yes. Yep. And so, oh, and by the way, all my notes on this come from japansociety.org. So,
Okay.
um, it says that she was American through and through. Like, she loved baseball, which was massive at the time, had no taste at all for Japanese music, but loved big band, which was really big at the
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And she had a super extroverted personality. A lot of her friends were Caucasian from where she went to school. And she actually clashed a lot with her father, was, I guess, more like conservative Japanese culture, everything. But her childhood was spent in California because her family had an import export business and then owned grocery stores and things. But she graduated from UCLA, was like as American as you can get. But then in 1941, she was sent to Tokyo to take care of her aunt that had fallen ill. And so her mom couldn't go because her mom was also in bad health. Her dad owned all the stores, so he couldn't go. So she was sent to Tokyo. And not that long after she went over there to take care of her, aunt, 6 months actually after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. So she ended up getting stuck in Japan because she couldn't go back. She didn't have the right passport or enough funds or something to get back
Mm-hmm.
in wartime,
Yeah.
basically. And so the Japanese police would constantly harass her and her aunt and her family over there. And eventually she moved out of like the countryside where she was taking care of her aunt and into Tokyo and took a secretary job. Um, and it was during this that people realized obviously she had very good English because she was American.
Mm-hmm.
And so they basically hired her, but I'm putting quotes on hired because she was forced into doing this radio show, um, because it was propaganda against Americans and they wanted it in English so American soldiers could hear it. So I guess there were like three men, American men, that were forced to create this radio show, and then they were forced to like hire women to do it.
Hmm.
So it was like POWs basically doing
Yeah.
this radio show. So there were some um, women doing these radio shows that did genuinely spread propaganda. Now, um, she specifically, Iva, was known for not being super anti-American out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
She would actually talk about like jazz and tried to talk about different things, but they did force her to talk about some, topics. So after a while of doing this, she eventually was able to get back to the United States, but she was like charged with treason and a bunch of different things. And the Truman administration had to be super, super tough on um, everyone Japanese and
Mm-hmm.
different races at this time because of the war, and they had to look tough on like war criminals and things like that. So they imprisoned her. Eventually, she was pardoned, but she has become synonymous with this whole thing, even though she was not really spreading propaganda, if that makes sense. Like she
Yeah.
was, but she was forced to do it and she didn't really do it. Um, but they kind of, there were some witnesses in her trial that made false reports that she was spreading like evil propaganda. And then they later came out. This is part of the reason she was pardoned. They later came out and said, oh, we lied. We made that up just to make her look bad because we needed to punish someone, basically. So,
That's unfortunate.
yeah, but that was really it. So it was this woman who was basically not imprisoned, but forced to do this, radio show for the Japanese government or military or whatever, and then ended up being in jail for a really long time because of propaganda she didn't spread. But yeah, everything was super anti-American, meant for like American soldiers to hear
Yeah.
from the Japanese to try to make them um, become like disillusioned or demoralized.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah, it was really interesting to read about because I did not know any of this
Yeah.
except for hearing the words Tokyo Rose before. So
I'd never really even heard of it until you mentioned it, so
mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
interesting though. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know propaganda goes all over and everybody does it basically. Every country does it, so it's not
Oh yeah, like
uncommon.
literally ever. I mean, there are some that we think of the most: China, North Korea, Germany,
Mhm.
Israel, but United States and UK are up there as well.
Mhm.
Every developed country uses propaganda
Mhm.
in even undeveloped countries. So it's just a matter of to what extent
Yeah.
and what are they known for. And
Yep.
yeah.
So, you looked into Tokyo Rose.
Yep.
You told me to look into like North Korea or something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really want, and I didn't tell you this. I didn't really. I
Mm-hmm.
just was like, okay, whatever. I didn't tell you this. I don't really want, North Korea coming after me for anything. So
Yeah.
I didn't look into that. I thought it'd be more interesting to look into U.S. propaganda because I thought that'd be fun. Um,
Yes, I do love looking at US propaganda.
so I
Also,
don't.
like, I love X-Files, I love conspiracy theories,
Yes.
and yeah, I love
So
US
I
propaganda.
didn't go too deep into it, but I have a
Hmm.
few little things that are fun to look at. So
Hmm.
U.S. propaganda, like I mean, the U.S. does propaganda actually a lot. Like it's been
Yeah.
around for a while. It still goes on all the time.
Yes.
It's not quite as prevalent as it was during World War II, which is when it and the Cold War and
And the
stuff, which
Cold
is
War.
the Cold War. It really ramped up. World War II is World War One and World War Two. World War Two is where it really ramped up a lot. Like
And
that's when
ours
it
is
really
also,
started to
it's
go.
situational, but also presidential. There are some presidents
Hmm.
that do it more than
Yeah.
others in some situations, but yeah.
Um, the U.S. has also had bans on it in the past. Now, uh, those bans haven't worked because there's been basically
Yeah.
they haven't worked because administrations are just like they'll do some crazy crap to get around these bans.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at this and Politico did a report on this at one point, and they will give like staff titles like health communication specialists or different like put them in private communications firms or
Hmm.
the Truman administration actually classified some public affairs officers as chaplains in order to get around the bans. So they'll go just about to any lengths to get around any propaganda bans. But anyway, um, uh, yeah. So during World War II, it was because during World War II, which Truman was president during World War II, or
Yeah.
during a part of World War II,
Hmm.
this end of the Japanese part of World War II, when we were
Hmm.
mostly the end of World War II. Um, the U.S. had an official policy of not doing propaganda.
Hmm.
That that isn't how that worked, but
Yeah.
they basically made it all the time. There was tons of it. There was several entities that made it. Um, it's actually considered one of the greatest propaganda machines in history. The U.S.
Yeah,
was
that doesn't surprise me.
the Writers' War Board is what it was called, the
Huh.
WWB, um, and some big names actually were part of that. Dr. Seuss wrote propaganda, a good amount of propaganda, over 400 political cartoons during
Interesting.
for New York newspapers between 1941 and 1943, um, that were kind of racist. Which all of them,
Mm.
I mean, back
Yeah,
then,
all of them.
all of them
Yeah.
were because you're writing propaganda to bash the other side. So yeah, it was,
Yeah.
um, and some of those ones were explicitly like all for killing Japanese people, which is even a little more than some other ones, which is
Yeah. It
pretty
was a scary time at that point in the
yeah.
US. Like
And all
anti-Japanese sentiment was high.
yeah, um, and we did some bad things too. Putting
We did
we
horrible
put them
things.
in concentration camps basically and things, and that's not okay. Like that's not good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, horrible things.
yeah. Uh, so I'll put some links to like you can look at some of the different propaganda stuff that we have. I'll put some links down below
Mhm.
in the comments, but or in the description here. But um, another one, the Looney Tunes had propaganda videos during World War II as well. They had different
Mhm.
propaganda that you could find. Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck went to war.
Yeah, there was even like one where the rabbit.
Bugs Bunny,
Yes,
Bugs,
thank
yeah.
you. Literally, I know you literally just said his name. Oh my God. Um, who was shooting Native Americans and keeping score. So like I know that there was a lot of what is now considered extremely wrong, what should have always been considered extremely
Yeah,
wrong, but I knew cartoons were a big part of it
yeah.
too.
Um, Yeah, and also Disney. Disney did a lot of propaganda. Disney was actually really did a lot of propaganda.
Hmm.
Um, Looney Tunes did. Where did I have that? Did I have that somewhere? Um,
And I feel like this goes back to kind of our positive and negative too. I think a lot of things at that time, in the time period we're talking about with the cartoons and stuff like that, and even like sitcoms in like the 67 and 60s, 70s and 80s, like promoting like a white nuclear household above all else. Like there's so many different forms of propaganda.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's not all like terrible, terrible, but there are implications from it
yeah.
all.
Um, Disney actually was about to go like bankrupt. They were not doing
Mm.
well at the beginning of in the early 40s. So they took up government contracts to make propaganda. 90% of the studio was working on
Wow.
propaganda videos. They made in 19 so they made educational films for troops, so on what to do,
Hmm.
basically, like what troops to do, and just propaganda in general. There's 68 hours of continuous film that they made of propaganda
Wow.
footage. Um, so there's a ton of it out there. Um, the U.S. also, that continued after the war into the Cold War, criticizing the Soviet Union. There was a whole
Hmm.
campaign on called "How to Spot a Commie,"
Yeah.
how to spot a communist. Um, the CIA had an operation called Operation Mockingbird, where they tried to get uh, journalists and media organizations uh, to use them in propaganda to spread propaganda
Yeah.
across the U.S. Another big one is the whole war on drugs is considered is a big propaganda thing.
Dare. Yeah, I've heard that.
Dare basically there's absolutely no evidence that it ever worked at all. The
Hmm.
U.S. spent $2.5 trillion from 1971 to 2011, and there is absolutely no evidence that any of it ever worked. So
Yeah. Yeah. I
it's
mean, look at where we are now with the quote unquote war on drugs.
yeah.
So no, it's that one I've definitely seen. And I mean, if you think about it, like even things like Rosie the Riveter, which is viewed as a positive
Mm-hmm.
thing, that's still technically propaganda. It is really fascinating to go into the rabbit hole of all this
Yeah,
in the
it is.
US specifically. Hmm.
Yeah. Um, yeah, because again, every country does it. Like
Yeah.
it's not
UK,
yeah, it's not just
especially during
like
wartime and
it's not just like you think of propaganda and you think of like dictatorships and you think of like Russia and like you said North Korea and Russia and
yeah.
things like China and stuff like that, but it's not. It's everywhere. Like all
Hmm.
places do it. So,
Yeah. I even looked up um ancient propaganda
mhm.
because I was just trying to find like something different and like the history of it. And so I even looked up like ancient Greece
Mhm.
and how like they used not just ancient Greece, but other ancient civilizations. So theirs was more sophisticated, to how we view it now because they would give speeches, use drama, the theater, art, sculptures, versus now it's like memes, but in AI videos. But still, it's the same type of thing. It's
Mhm.
all to spread a
An
message.
idea.
No matter what the message is, it's all
Yep.
to spread a message,
Yep.
whether it's political, religious, social, no matter what it is. So I found some cool examples. So one is Dionysia. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Dionysus is an Athenian god. And so they would have this festival to, honor this god, but more so it was a display of wealth and power for Athens. And it was like the only time during the year where rich and poor people, and no matter what you are or were at the time, you could all celebrate together because they wanted to portray this not welcoming, because they were trying to promote like democracy and like promoting their message of inclusivity when
Mm-hmm.
in reality you still have different classes and
Yeah.
women and can't have position, and so that was a form of propaganda, this big festival where everyone is together when they're not. um and then also this one was funny because we see this a lot nowadays. The ancient Egyptians with like their sculptures and um, statues and their art, they portray. So we know now from science that a lot of the pharaohs were like Tutankhamun, for example, King Tut. Like we know he was like crippled. They had so many generations of inbreeding. He had lots of diseases and was short and had one limb that he, would limp. So we know they had lots of issues scientifically now.
Mm-hmm.
We can see that from bones and everything. But in their art, he's not depicted that way.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them are. And so it's like nowadays you have like, I don't know, people talking about like testosterone or doing pull-ups in an airport, but that's just their version is ancient Egyptian art and depicting, their rulers as these healthy godlike beings when we know that it wasn't like. So it was like fascinating to go through different examples, but those were two of my favorites that I found. But there's so many coins. There's so many different like religious propaganda from that time, the pyramids. Like it was fascinating to read about all the different ancient cultures and what is considered propaganda,
Mm-hmm.
from that time, and how it it's changed, but it hasn't really changed, if that makes sense. Like it's still the same messages, whether it's political, social, whatever. It's just that they were making sculptures and we're making memes.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
It is very interesting to see where, because it's been around for, like you said, millennia, and it's
Yeah.
just changed how we disseminate it
Hmm.
basically, and that's it.
Yeah,
Like it's just
exactly. Yeah. And like we said, it's not all good or bad or in between. Some you don't know the ethical or moral implications of it. It just is. It just is fascinating.
yeah.
So I actually thought this was like a really interesting thing to read about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It very much is. I think that
Mhm.
does that mean it's time for fact? Do you have anything else, or is it time for facts?
Nope, that was it.
So, my fact for this week has a little bit to do with this. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but my fact is that propaganda is so ubiquitous that it's even in like the it's in your everyday. Like if
Yeah.
you really think about it, it's in commercials that you watch. It is used to
Hmm.
sell you crap because that's what it is. Like it is trying
Yeah.
to sell you things. That's what advertising basically is. Trying to get you to buy things. Like
Hmm.
it is everywhere. It's cuz it's just trying to get you to think a certain way.
I mean,
So,
influencers
yeah.
are
It's
spreading. Yeah.
it's all it is trying to get you to think a certain way. That's all it
Hmm.
is. And if so, doesn't again doesn't mean it's necessarily good or bad. Either way, If it makes you think something in particular, then it did its job.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It is crazy. Yeah.
It is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If you really think about it.
Yeah. It truly is in every facet of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. My fun fact, excuse me, um, is just about ancient Greece. That was like the last thing I researched, so it's top of mind for me.
Mm-hmm.
So ancient Greece society, I don't know exactly what year or anything, but they are credited for creating the first alarm clocks, water mills, analog computers, which
Yeah.
Antikythera, I think that's like, is it like calculators kind of?
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Um, and even the first example of a very rudimentary steam engine. So I thought that was cool. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it was just about as good as who was that one? Galileo, Picasso, or a guy tried to like make a plane and like fell out of the sky.
Well, Galileo didn't fall out of the sky, I don't believe. Trying to, and
Who
Picasso
was?
Picasso
Who
was
am
a
I thinking of?
painter. Um,
There was a guy that was like a painter, artist,
Da
creator.
Vinci.
Yes. Right?
I mean, he did invent a helicopter. I don't know if he ever built it, but he invented a
Yeah.
lot of things.
And it like
And
did not work.
he was a painter. Um,
Yeah.
but he invented a lot of things. Like he was an inventor, an artist,
Yeah.
like a scholar. Like he was a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, there was a lot of things to Da Vinci, but yeah,
Yeah.
not Picasso. Picasso was just a painter.
Okay. Listen. I
I
don't
get it.
know.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, it's understandable. Um,
But that's all I got.
yeah, I get it. Anyway, I think that's it for this week. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little jaunt down the world of propaganda with us. This was an interesting topic to look into. And like I said, I'll put some links down below for things if you want to look at like some of the cartoons, the old propaganda cartoons, and Nick, if you send me some of the, I'll put some of the stuff down there for the ancient stuff too, so you guys can look at some of it, what we found. Yeah, but don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.